Arif, if you are there, just call my mobile. Okay. ठीक है. Okay, students, thanks for joining in. Let's get started. I think today there is a transition from the Zoom to here, right? So there might be some delay. Don't worry, we'll get started shortly. Okay. Okay. So let's get started. So there is a transition from the previous link to new links, right? So sorry for the delay. Let's get started. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. As our protocol, class protocol, right? Let's start with our what we have learned yesterday, right? It's a recap what you have learned. Okay, can someone help me what we have learned yesterday? Anyone? So who remembers, sir? We closed laptop yesterday. We opened the laptop today. Right? Okay. So at least some people remember. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. Let's get that particular topics listed over here. We started with the NumPy module, right? And then we have, and then we started looking at array under the okay under the array. So then we started looking at the matrix. What is a matrix? One-dimensional matrix, right? Two-dimensional matrix or a three-dimensional matrix. And then we started looking at what is the origin of this particular matrix versus vector. Okay. What is the topic name? That name we are calling as a linear transformation, right? When you do the vector and then you do some transformation, and then the assumption behind the transformation is your surface or whatever dimension you are taking is a linear. So there are certain properties for the linear. Okay. Based on that particular transformation, how your vector will get positioned as a different vector, right? And then we learned whatever is the basis vector, we have learned, right? Based on this particular basis vector, you will be referring a point in the space, right? As a vector, right? Now, whenever you do any transformation, then this particular basis vector change to a new changed basis vector, right? Then obviously, whenever you change your basis vector, your point will also get changed, right? That is what we have seen. That particular change in the your basis vectors is nothing but your matrix, and the new point or whatever vector you have taken, that is your vector and the matrix, right? That is how we have come down to that particular area. And then we started looking at the NumPy module. So in the NumPy, whenever I said any data store, that means your NumPy is also kind of a variable which stores the data. That means we need to perform the CRUD operations. Remember this one from our first class? What is our learning from our first class? If at all you take any data store, right, that will follow these CRUD operations, right? For that reason, we started with the create. How can we create an array? Simply say numpy dot array of, you can create a list 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, whatever it is. Okay. Now, if at all I want to create dynamically, what function I should use? Anyone? I don't want to give a static numbers, but I want to create some numbers into my numpy. How could I create? What is the function would create? Banu has answered. I don't. So does anybody else also can see the messages, or only I can see messages? Can you all see other messages also? Okay, cool. Then there is no surprise. I thought if someone answer it is a hidden, but yeah, you have already know the answer. Okay, that's fine. So now you can say numpy dot arrange you can use. Okay, okay. A means array, and then range is the one which is the actual Python function. Like arrange, it will create what is the start number, what is the end number. Let's say it is can be 100, right? And then you want to position or step by one. That means from 0 to 99, it will create the numbers in an array. Okay, this is what this particular function does. Okay, now it will create a one-dimensional array only, right? But I wanted to convert this one-dimensional array as a two-dimensional array. How could I do? Great. So there is a function called reshape. Whenever you say reshape, this is a rows and then column. You need to mention how many rows you want, how many columns you want. Okay. If at all I give wrong column and wrong row numbers, which doesn't fit the number of elements in the array, that time it may raise an exception saying your number of elements and the number of rows and columns are not matching. Okay, that's why you need to make sure based on the number of elements, you would be appropriately fixing your rows and columns. Okay, if at all you don't want to take that particular risk, because let's say I need to fit the 100 elements. Okay, what I can do, I can say 10 rows, 10 elements, right? That means 10 comma 10 you can give. But let's say if I give some random number saying 54, okay, then rather than giving rows and columns, I can simply mention only rows like this. That means if I mention 9, it will automatically calculate how many columns should be there. It will automatically arrange that particular columns. Okay. This is also you can do if you don't want to mention the column names. You can calculate how many rows and columns could be, or if you wanted to change, you can change. You can give only rows or only columns also. Okay, if you give columns, it will set the how many rows it should those numbers should get into. For example, I want to create 6 columns. What could be my what would be my rows? How many rows would be there? Anyone good at maths? I have mentioned there 6, and then a number of elements are 54, right? Excluding the 54, this means 0 to 53. How many rows would be there if I mention this? 9. right? 9 6 are 54, 9 rows will be there, right? Like that, the background Python also calculate, and it will automatically create that particular two-dimensional array. If at all you want to convert three-dimensional, you can give three-dimensional also. Okay. So now the next one is, I think there are certain methods called ARR dot I, which will create identity matrix, right? You can mention 3 by 3 or something, whatever, right? You can mention based on the this value. Identity matrix must be a square matrix only. You cannot have a different rows and different columns. Okay, that time you have to create a proper array which will take it, but that array, okay, you can't take an array. You can simply say np.I, okay, and then you can mention 3. That means it will create a square matrix with all the ones in the diagonal and zeros on the all other elements, right? I am not converting any array to this I am creating a new matrix with the 3 by 3 matrix, square matrix, okay, like this. 1 1 1 in the dimension diagonal, I'm sorry. Here you can create like this, right? Similarly, np dot ones, these are all different ways you can create. So here you can create a non-square matrix also, so that you can give 3 comma 4 also. Some, because once you can create any number of, but identical matrix should be square only, right? Because the diagonal uh, metric should be there, right? All the ones. Okay. So this is what different ways of creating your vector, so your matrix, right? So now if you wanted to look at the what, let's say you have created a matrix like this. If you want to know the shape of the matrix, how you can do? I want to know the shape of matrix. What is the function I should use? Very good. So I simply need to say array dot shape. Okay. So I can use this particular function so that that would give the shape of the matrix. Okay. Let me open in the meantime. Let me open the slide. Hmm. Okay. So here this is what we have learned, and then arrange dot reshape also. Directly you can apply reshape on the arrange function itself. Okay. Rather, you can apply after you creating array from arrange, and then you can apply reshape, or you can directly apply reshape also. This is all we discussed. Uh, Pool and then arrange. Okay, so I have told you start and end array, right? But if you give some number directly, it will create those number of elements, and then it will start from 0 and then create those many number of elements. Okay, that is what it will be creating. Uh, I think I am missing. No, I think yeah, yeah. Sorry, this one. If you, array, what happened? So rather than leaving the blank, you can use this particular -1. Okay. If you use -1 means rows is fixed, and then your columns would be fixed based on number of elements. How many number of elements are there? Based on that one, your columns will be calculated if you use a -1. Okay. Rather than blank, it is -1. Okay. So this is what I have already told. And then less these zeros and ones functions are there. Okay, let me see, let me show you this particular linspace. So sometimes what you need to create, you need to create a matrix with a linearly spaced matrix. What it means, For example, if I say 0 to 5, comma, sorry, 0 to 10, comma 5, that means between 0 and 10, it will separate or it will create a matrix with the elements spaced by 5. Okay, let me take this code. Let me take collab. Sorry, this is in the. So earlier I used a Visual Studio, right? Now I'll change different IDEs so that you will get familiarized with different IDEs also, rather than using one single IDE. Google Collab. Okay. Let's use a IDE today. What is IDE? Google Colab we will use today. Let me create a new notebook. Okay, I have logged in. I hope you have all tried with Google Colab also, right? Let's create with the different IDEs, because I wanted you all familiar with not only one single tool. You should all use different tools. Okay, so that there is a actually there is a psychology. If you use daily only one thing, right, your brain get habituated and it won't start activating certain neurons. Okay, but if you start using different things, right, your neurons are always get activated. Okay, wherever, let's say, if and else, your neurons also what, if and else, connected like this. If you are daily use only this particular path, okay, these neurons are not always used, so these are all get died. That means you will forget how to use this particular tool. Okay, so let's use a different tool set also. Let's say NumPy. Same thing, right? There is no difference between this and your IPVNB in a Visual Studio also. Just a change in the platform, that's all. Okay. Now what I will do, simply I'll import NumPy, because to write my code first I need to use import my NumPy. Let's see whether it is pre-installed in my Collab or not. If not, we can install also. Okay, cool. It is there already in predefined in my Collab, so it is working fine. But let me give an alias rather than always writing NumPy. I will say I will give an alias of NP. Okay, now what I need to use? I need to use this particular NP dot what we were discussing. Yeah, this linspace, right? Linspace of 0, comma 10, comma 5. Okay, if I give this, let me print. Okay, it will print automatically. I need not write print. See, it has created 5 elements it will be creating, but it will be linearly giving a space between each element. Okay, it has created 5 between 0 and 5. Whenever you say 5, that means there are elements 0, 2.5, 5.0, 7.5 and 10, right? This is how it will be creating. Okay, earlier whenever I used the same funda, but here when I used the reshape, sorry, arrange, range. Okay. Okay. So here it took the step, right? That means 5 steps it is going. That's why it has created. Let's say if I give a step as a 2, that means it will create 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? But in the linspace, it will create my matrix with the equally spaced by the number of elements you have mentioned. Okay, first it will take how many elements it has to create. Based on the number of elements, it will equally create the distance between those elements. Okay, if I mention 6, okay, it has created 6 elements with which point to point difference. If you mention 7, okay, it has created the 7 elements with equally spaced between each element. That is what the linspace is. Okay, 7 is the number of elements here. 2 here it is a number of step in the arrange function. Okay, try to differentiate this particular two methods. Okay. Okay, CRUD operations you can create. end element is 10. Yeah, end element is 10. Here it is not considering the exclusion. It will include that particular element also, if that is your question. Okay, it will just look at the equal spacing. Okay. Now, sometimes what we need to do, sometimes randomly you want to create all the elements in your matrix. Okay. You use this particular np.random.rand. Okay. That time what it will create, if you give the element numbers, let's say here I have given 2 comma 3. Okay. In between that elements of 2 comma 3, it can create randomly any number. Okay. Let me take this. It didn't copy. Okay. Let me. Okay. If you want to look at the syntax also, you can see the syntax. Random values in the given shape. Create an array of the given shape and populate it with the random samples from a unique distribution over 0 and 1. Okay. Let's say, uh, okay. I'm sorry. Thing is, it's not. It doesn't create in between these two. It is the matrix shape. Okay. Let's say I gave a metric shape as a 1 comma 3. That means what? It will create one row with 3 elements, but the elements will be created between 0 and 1. It is my bad. Okay. It will create the values between 0 and 1. Let me hash it. Between 0 and 1 with the size as 1 comma 3. Okay, that is what it will create. Let me create. So here one row with 3 elements between 0 and 1 only, and then it will randomly pick up some values. Okay. Now if at all you want to create only integers, then some number, right? Random dot rand int. Okay. Here you can give the shape of 3 comma 2. That means 3 rows, 2 elements. It will create. What is the okay? Sorry, 2 comma 3. What happened? Okay, so the syntax is different. 0. Let's say 2 comma 7, and then you need to give a what range, what size you wanted to pick up. It has a small change in the syntax. Okay, size equal to 2 comma 3. Okay, here it is giving size equal to 2 comma 3, but here you can mention what are the start and end of this particular rand int. Okay, so it has created 2 rows, right, and then 3 columns between range of 2 comma 7. Okay, so sir, why I need to create these many different types? Because in a machine learning, right? So let's say you take a data of a sales information. Okay, let's say house sale information or car sale information, any car sale information, right? How it will be? For example, car model, okay, car ID, okay, car some engine, engine means BHP or something, right? Like this, some information will be there. And then what is the sale of this particular car? Is it 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs or whatever it is? Some data is there. That time you will have the values. Okay. You will have the values. Okay. So in a machine learning, what I will do some data preparation and data pre-processing. By doing this particular pre-processing, there is a technique called standardization. I will bring all the columns to one single standard. Because for example, you measure a length in centimeters, okay, and then weight in kgs, for example, right? Let's say length of the base is certain 200 cm or what something, weight is like a 3000 kgs, right? Whenever you see these numbers in the machine learning algorithms, what happens, it will just look at whether it is a centimeters or weight. It doesn't look at it. Okay, it doesn't know. Machine learning algorithm doesn't know. It just look at as this as one value, this as a second value. That's all it will look at. Okay, that time if you have two different scales, the machine learning algorithm may fail based on the algorithm type. That time what I will do, I will bring this to a same standard. That means I will convert this into, let's say, 0.2, and this one also I will convert it 0.02, and I will convert this as a 0.3 or something like that. I will bring them to the same scale. There are some techniques how I can convert this to the same scale. Okay, but understand, I will convert into same scale. That means it will all represented as a 0.002, 0.003, something like that. The values are getting represented, right? This is whenever you have a data available, but you want to quickly run an algorithm. Okay, you want to quickly create an algorithm with certain dummy data, some dummy data. You don't worry about what data it is. Okay, I want to create how the algorithm will work. I just want to evaluate the algorithm. That time what I will do, I will use np.random int. Okay, then I will create whatever size I need to create. Let's say if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever are the columns. I will create those many number of columns, and how many number of rows I need, I will create number of rows, and I will take this as my data, and then I will apply this particular machine learning algorithm on my data. In that case, we would be using this particular NumPy. Okay, that is the reason NumPy is very, very highly used across your AI. Okay, even in the computer vision also. Actually I have explained you how the images are considered, right? Each pixel. Yesterday we discussed, right? There also we'll be creating a matrix, right? Like that, there are so many ways your NumPy will be represented in a multiple ways. Okay, that's why NumPy module is very, very, very important. That's why we are discussing also as deep as possible. Okay. Somebody asked, can you explain? Let me explain again. Okay. First of all, let me ask this question. How many of you know machine learning earlier in this group? How many of you know machine learning algorithms? None? Okay, NH, Pradeep, no. Sai doesn't know. Shivam doesn't know. Okay, lot of no's. Okay, only few people know. Okay, let me explain clearly. Okay, let's say in the machine learning algorithm, there are certain algorithms. Don't worry about what those algorithms and all. That is not our point of interest. Okay, why we are learning this particular NumPy? I think NH Pradeep, you might understand, right? Why I was referring this particular array and how I am referring machine learning algorithm, right? So now, if you want to understand the algorithm, what do we need to do? You will take some data set. Okay, how the data set look like? Let's say I want to take a healthcare use case. In the healthcare use case, what I will say, whether I will need to give a vaccination to my population or not. That is the study I want to do. That time what I will do, I will take some generic data. Okay, let's say age, gender, okay, their weight and their height and their geometrical, their geography. Okay, are they from India, US, within India, are they from Mumbai, city, village, all of that. Okay, some kind of a some kind of a features I am taking. Okay, for my population, I'm taking features of each person, right? I have a, for example, 1,000 people. For each 1,000 people, I'm taking all the attributes, right? What is the age of a person? What is the gender? What is the weight? What is the height? And then I will say whether I need to give the vaccine or not. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I want to take. What I will do, I will take this particular data set. I will apply an algorithm to tell, okay, my algorithm will learn based on this data. It will learn if the age is 10 and the gender is male and the weight is something, one height is something, you can give a vaccination. If the age is 60 and the age is gender is male, if weight is something, height is something, the vaccination shouldn't be given. Based on these conditions, your algorithm has given to whom the vaccination should be given, to whom the vaccination should not be given. There are n number of algorithms. I have taken certain algorithm to train the data. If the new data point comes in, okay, saying the age is 50, the gender is female, and the weight is something and the height is something, whether the new vaccine should be given or not. This is the question, right? Then I will give this data to my algorithm. Okay. Then based on this data, whatever it has learned, it will try to predict whether this particular person should be given a vaccination or not. Okay. That is the reason what I will do. If you look at this data, if you look deeper, this is a matrix, right? How many columns are there? Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. And here you have 1,000 rows. That means your matrix size is 1,000 comma 5 is your matrix size. Okay. Now you are taken because you have a data, so that you have taken this particular data. Sometimes, right, to test my algorithm, sometimes I don't find any data set. I don't find any data set that time, but still I want to assess, okay, whether linear regression algorithm works or not, or decision tree works or not. What is a random forest algorithm? Rather than waiting for my data to come, I will randomly create this particular matrix with 1,000 comma 5. How I can create? I can create here 1,000 comma 5. Sorry, this is between values, right? I can give any value here. Let's say between 10 to 200. I want to create a size of 1,000 comma 5. So these are I will be creating, so that my big matrix will be created. Rather than waiting for a data set, I am creating some dummy data to test my algorithm. That's all. That is why I could use this particular NumPy there to create my dummy set. Okay, that is what I was explaining. Okay, now to maintain data normalization and all, you forget about it. What is the standardization? All of that is a different course altogether. That is it will go to statistics. Okay. Use NumPy. We are already LLMs are there. We are going to use them, right? Yes. Even in case of LLMs, you need to understand how LLM will do the lot of math inside the LLMs. Okay, maybe I will explain later, but just remember this word, embeddings. Okay, so that embeddings will be coming as your each word represented as embedding. That's where I need to create certain metrics, but for now you ignore. So this is what you would be using in the space of your LLM also. This is also used in LLM. Okay, everywhere AI means, in a mathematics, it is a matrix. If you think of in the mathematics lens, okay, it is matrix. Because in a real world, you will be looking everything from a different dimensions and different angles. If you look at a physics angle, the vector is different. If you look at from a mathematical angle, the vector is different, right? So that's why you need to look from different lenses to understand different concepts. Okay, cool. Don't worry, all these things will be pretty clear for you. Just hear out the classes and you can ask questions and then you try to follow me, but very closely, and you need to practice very high, because we will give you lot of content, lot of content which I have gained from reading or going through lot of material, right? That all will be coming out. So you need to practice along with me, and you need to refer my videos n number of times. You need to practice these sessions multiple times. Okay, then your brain will get habituated to understand. Okay, this will become easy. Okay, I'll give you an example. Whenever how many of you know car driving? I don't know. Whenever you first started your car driving practice, how many of you thought it is very hard? How come people are driving the car? How many of you thought? You might have thought. Sudhir, yes. Asha, yes. Sojan, yes. I am also, yes. Okay, there are so many yes, right? But now, whenever you keep on driving, these days, do we look at the road and drive, or look at a gear and then look at the clutch, look at the brake and all? Our brain has been habituated to apply these things automatically, right? Even looking at a mobile also you can drive these days happily, right? That means your brain has learned internally. You need not to look at. That becomes because of practice. Your brain neurons are already learned that particular path how you can do. That is why you must practice as many times as possible, so that it will become hands free for you. Okay, because these days, as this is a UI AI world, in the interviews, they may quickly ask you to share your screen and write a Python program. You shouldn't be feeling uncomfortable to write a small Python program. Okay. One of my student, what they are doing, he is very good student. He learned all the topics very well, but theoretically only he learned along with me. He did practice. He can answer any theoretical question. He's very smart, right? But in the interview, when he appeared for the interview, suddenly they asked him to share his screen and asked him to write a small array program only. They asked, not even a complex program. He was struggling, right? So that's why I'm giving those experiences to this group. Please practice triple P formula, right? Triple R jaisa. We have a triple P formula. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. Chalo, Gyan ho gaya for today. Gyan is done. Let's jump to the class. Okay. So I have created some array with a random integers. So I am giving you the applications where you will be using. That's where you can remember also. Okay, done. Now I have applied a lot of what you call create, right? In the CRUD, I have used all the create options. Okay, we'll come to arithmetic operations later. Now let's look at how to access the algorithms. Sorry, arrays, right? What do you mean by that? In the CRUD, I have told you how to use the create. Now let's understand the R, how to read the arrays, elements of the arrays, how you can read the elements of the arrays. Okay, to read the element of the arrays, here also each array element will be represented by the index, just like a list. Here also each element of the array would be represented with the index. For example, this is 0th index, 1 index, 2 index, and 3rd index. Okay, sir, then it is a one-dimensional array. What if it is a two-dimensional array? That means you will be identifying an element with both the index of your rows and then columns. Okay, the row index will start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Even columns will be starting as 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, now if I want to access an element in the array, for example, let's take an array 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I want to access the element of this array. What would be my row and column I need to give? I need to give 0th row, first row, that means row 1, 0th row, sorry, 0th column and first column, right? 1, comma 1, right? Whenever you give 1, comma 1, that means you are reading this particular element. Okay. So now if you need to give like this. Okay. Array of row index and then in column whichever index it is. You can give like this or you can give like this also, like square brackets 1, comma 1. Okay. This is how you can access the element of your. Okay. Similarly, if you have a 3D element, you can give, obviously you will be having, let's say in the 3D, you will have a first matrix, second matrix. Like this, you will be having a multiple matrix within the matrix, right? Let's say in a one layer, you will have a rows and columns. Third dimension is similar to that, you will have a multiple matrices, right? This is a third dimension. This is a row and column. The third dimension is what? Number of matrices like this, third and fourth. That means if you want to access the second one, this one, that means this element, if at all you want to access. Okay. That means you will be accessing first, let's say second matrix, right? This is the first matrix. This is the second matrix. Within the second matrix, your row is 0, 1 and your column is 0, 1. That means you will be accessing the second matrix, and then within the second matrix, you are accessing the second row. Within the second row, you are accessing the second element in the column. This is how you would be accessing your 3D array. Understood, Jyoti? Jagat Jyoti Mohanty. Okay. Okay. Cool. Now, so now you have identified one element, but sir, obviously I want to access more than one element, right? So whenever you want to access more than one element, our power astra will come. The power astra is slicing, right? You are seeing these big boss and all, they use a power astra. What is a power astra? To do some bad for the other guy only, they use power astra to eliminate, to do something else, right? If you don't see big boss, that is fine. If you see any reality show, they will give some power astra to one guy to smash or to eliminate one guy. But here the power astra is a good power astra for us. What is the power astra? Slicing. You can slice your array. That means you can get more than one element, the power astra. Okay. Here to do this particular slicing, don't go to interview, say that how you can split your array to get more elements, say power astra. They will say, thank you, sir. You can leave the call, right? Just to remember, I'm telling all these shortcuts, but it is a slicing. You can slice your array. Okay. Now to slice your elements, I have taken an array, which is one dimensional array. Okay. And then here I have given 2, comma 8. Whenever I say 2, comma 8, that means it will start from a second element. Okay. Here I have taken from a 0. That means here, where is my pen? Okay. Yeah. 0, 1, 2. That means it will take from this index and till 8 it will take. That means it will take n minus 1 to this particular point, so that it will output from 2 to 7. Okay. And one more thing, as I mentioned, if you don't mention any start, what it will consider? In the list we have learned, if you miss that particular first few classes, please refer to my YouTube class. In the first one or second class or third class, I have taken the list. There I have told whenever you don't mention the start point, it will take the start index as the first index. Okay, that's why it is taken from 0 to n minus 1. It will go to here 0 to 4. Okay. Similarly, 5 colon 5, that means fifth index, and then till end it will take. If you want to reverse, okay, if you want to read the elements from this order, you just need to mention after your row, sorry, after your start index and end index, you need to mention the direction of your reading. Okay, that time it will start reading from back to start. Okay, here as you don't mention the direction, it will always consider as a positive and it will take from start to end. Similarly, if at all you want to understand the 2D array, how to slice it? Start row, colon end row, colon step, in which direction you want to go or in which step you want to go. Okay, and then for column also, start column, end column, and then what is the step you want to take. Okay, if you mention 2, it will step 1, skipping 1, it will go to the second. Let's say 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it will go first 0, it will skip this and will go to here second. So it will skip. If you take minus, that means it will read from the back side. Okay, it is along the direction with the step. How many steps it has to do? The index starts from 0. Okay, so here I have taken a 2D array. In the 2D array, if I take like this, okay, I have created an array with 2D. What I need to do? I need to do the square bracket. Okay, whenever I give the square bracket, whenever I mention 1, this is a row. This is the row. I have mentioned start row, but I didn't mention the end row or the step. That is fine. Even if you don't mention start row and end row, it will take all the elements. Okay, that means row is 0, row is 1, second row, third row index is this. I mentioned 1. That means this row it has taken, comma, I mentioned colon. That means I didn't mention how many elements you need to get. It has get this particular 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I want to fetch a different way. I don't mention how many rows I want, but I will mention the column. Which column I want to get? I want to get the column 1. What is the column? 0, 1, 2. That means it will fetch 1, 4, 7. Right? Understood how it worked? All of you, watch closely. Right? So this is what you will be getting. Now here I don't give any, but I can give a value of a start row, end row, and start column, end column, right? If I give like this, let's understand the index through index 0. Maybe I will take a little, I need to, okay. Yeah, the pointer I have reduced. If you have a difficulty in seeing, let me know. I will again increase the point size. Okay, 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, and then column wise this is 0 and 1, 2, and row wise 0, 1, 2. If I give 0 colon 2, right, that means it will take first row, first column. That means it will take 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 it has taken. Again in the column also I told 0 colon 2. That means it will take this row, sorry, this column and this column. That means the ultimate result will be 0, 1, 3, 4. This would be your output. Understood all of you? Okay. So you can practice this one. That means here I am take all the rows, take all the columns, but I want to jump step by 2. That means what happens? Here I want to take all the rows and all the columns. Okay, good. 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I want to read all the elements. No, I want to jump by, I want to take the second one. That means it will take the first and it will jump by, it will go to the second position. Okay. Here also it will take this one, it will jump to this position. Here also it will go to this position, it will jump to this particular position. That means whatever it will take 0, 2, okay, column also, sorry, row also I want to jump, right? I have taken this row and then I will jump. I will come to here. That means 6 comma 6 and 8. So this will be printed. 0 to 6, 8 will be printed. It will jump by row also. It will jump by your column also. If I take only one here, that means it will take 0 to 3, 5, 6, 8. This will be printed. Okay, if you want to try, please try that as an assignment for you. Okay, and try out this particular what will be printed for this one. You need to tell me what will be printed. Okay. Now, Baswa Prasad want to explain how this will. This one you want to explain the above one. This one, right? Okay. Let's take your. This is your matrix 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is your matrix. What I told, you take the 0th row till second row. Okay, but whenever I said this is end point n minus 1, I told, right? Start will be taking that index, but the end index will be n minus 1 index only it will take. What is the index? Let's write the index for columns 0, and 1 and 2, and row index is 0, 1, 2. Okay, that means 0 and 1 index I will be taking. That means at a row level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I will be taking. But for a column also what I told, take 0th index n minus 1 till n minus 1 index, right? This is 0 until n minus 1 is this. That means it will print this as your output. Understood? Now, okay, cool. Okay, this is what the concept of slicing. Now, you know how to read the elements from the matrix also. Okay, so now the next one is what? Under the CRUD operation, U, right? U means you are updating the array. That means you can add the new element or update the existing element. Both of that will come under your update of your data element, right? So let's understand how you can add a new row. Okay. So here, if you take this particular numpy array, okay, to add a new row, you will be taking this particular new array. Okay, and then you will use np.append and you take the original array, which is this, comma, new row, whatever you have created, right? You created two rows. Sorry, one is a matrix, other one is an array with a one row. You have appended that particular row over here to create a new, altogether new array. Okay, axis is 0. We'll come back to this axis is 0. But for now, you ignore this particular axis. If you say this is a new row. Okay, now I want to append the new column rather than a row. That time I will be taking. Okay. Now focus here, guys. Why I need to take this way? Why I need to take an array if I want to add this as a column? Okay. You have taken here what? What is the dimension of this array by looking at this? What is the dimension of array? 2D array, right? Because whenever you see two square brackets, it is 2D array. Simple, nothing rocket science here, right? That means how I have created an array 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how I have created the array, right? Now we want to add a element 5 and 6 as a column I want to add, right? That means what you are trying to do when you are creating an array, you have to create this as a one column and this as a one column, right? Whenever you have the one row, within the one row, you can take two elements as this particular as a two arrays, and then you will be adding this to your original array. Okay. Now I will tell you about access. If at all you want to access that row or a new element as a column, you keep as a 1. If it is a row, you keep it as 0. Sir, how do I remember, sir, 1 or 0, whether column or not? The column will always like a stand line, right? So you remember, like whenever you give 1, that means you are attaching as a column. 0 means it will attach as a row. Okay? Okay? How you can remember also I am telling. So that you won't forget. Now, now I want to insert a specific at a specific position than as a row or a column. To do that one, so you can take a new array. Okay, whenever you mention axis as a 0, right, you will be inserting this particular row at a, let's say you have taken an array, original array, and then you will be mentioning at which position you want to insert that particular array and what elements you need to enter into the array. Okay, that means whenever I mentioned as a 1, means at index 1, I want to insert this particular element. That means if it is taking 0, 1, in place of 3 and 4, it will enter 99 and 100. That means your array would be 1, 2, 99, 100, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Please practice this particular PowerPoint. I will upload this today and you can practice what would be printed if you give like this. Okay. Sir, do we need to learn this much deep about NumPy and operating certain arrays? You need not to know this much deep, but as a concept, I am telling you all this. Maybe in the programming or while creating AI, you might not to create at the element level operation, you might not need to do. There are lot many libraries which will perform these kind of operations for you. Okay, but it would be great if you have a very clear idea on how your operations on the NumPy arrays would work. Okay, the next one is update. Okay, here also to update any element, right? You are not inserting any new element or making a insert at a certain position, right? For that reason, first you need to access that particular certain element. Let's say if you want to access this particular element 5. Okay, let's see how many of you answer this question. Good. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I want to change this 5 to 15. That is my target. That means I need to access this particular element first. How I can access this particular element? You tell me. Let's see how many of you answer. Think. Or wow, super. Lot of people answered correctly. Let me say 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Right? That means the first row means the first index row, second first index column. That means 4. That means you take this array of 1, comma 1 equal to 15. Okay, that is what you will be applying for a one specific element. But if at all you want to change the complete row, you can simply say array of 1 equal to completely changing 4, 5, 6 to 14, 19, 20. That means your array would be updated to 1, 2, 3, 14, 19, 20, 7, 8, 9. Like this, it will get updated. Okay? Okay. Now, you can, if you want to update the column also, you just need to access that particular column and update to the column. Bus. It is very easy how you can access certain elements and you can update those elements. Once if you know slicing, you would know how to update also. Okay. Let's understand the delete also. Okay. So with that delete of array, that means I would be doing the last operation of my CRUD. Okay, so this analogy actually I only brought in. If you see nowhere they will explain on a data element that you need to perform this particular operation. This is my teaching methodology. From my teaching methodology, I have found that if I teach my students in this methodology, so that they will always remember the 4 operations on any data element. If you want to see across the YouTube, you won't find this kind of analogy. Okay, please remember how this particular analogy also coming in and how you can remember these things, right? So let's understand the delete. Okay, somebody might be thinking self promotion. Yeah, I need to do some self promotion also. All right, because this is a lot of after telling so many classes, we are telling finding some better way so that students will remember for longer. That is my intention here. Right? Target is also that the same thing. My student should be always ahead of anybody else. Okay. Now what I need to do, I need to delete the array, right? Means delete that particular elements of the array. Here I have a np dot delete function. Okay. Within this one, I can say that particular array, and then whenever I say a 2, that means it will remove that particular index item. Okay, if it is one dimensional. If it is a two dimensional, I need to take this particular array and I need to mention, if I mention 1, that means the second row, and then axis, whether it is delete the row or a column, based on the axis, it will take decision whether to remove the row or remove the column. As I told, right, the shortcut is what? Whenever it is 1, that means column. Columns are always like lines, right? Like this. Rows are like this. So that means columns are 1. So you can, whenever you mention axis equal to 1 and 0, you mention, that means your first column 147 will be deleted, right? If you mention axis equal to 0 and you mention 1, that means this row will be deleted. Okay, that is very straightforward, and based on the logic what we have discussed, this will be deleting like that. Okay, CRUD operations are done. Awesome. But yesterday, what I was telling you, then there are lot many mathematical operations we will be doing on the CRUD, sorry, on the matrix, right? I need to do matrix multiplication, or I need to do matrix into some scalar, means some value I need to multiply, right? Maybe I'll give you one logical question. Let's see how many of you can think logically along with me. If I have a matrix, okay, think about a linear transformation kind of a mode. Okay, you are in a linear transformation now. Okay, 0, 2 and 2, 4. Now I said into 2. What it means? If this is a matrix and I have multiplied into 2, what it means? In a physical sense, what could be it mean? Ashish is so smart. He said 2, 4, 4, 8. No, Baba, I am asking what it means. That means I am applying a transformation where I am doubling the impact of transformation, right? That what I am representing in a mathematical way, right? By looking at this, you won't be able to understand. That is how you need to start thinking from today. I am doubling the impact of transformation on certain vector. For example, 2, 3, 4, three phase vector. I am applying certain, sorry, two, this is 2 only, right? Like, let's take 2-dimensional array only. 2, 3, that means earlier it has applied some transformation. For example, after first transformation, it has come to this. When I double this, that may come to 20, 2, right? That means I am applying a doubling the transformation. That's how you should understand how mathematics are in the background converting into real-time operations. Chalo. Sir, why we think, but you should think. Okay, you should proudly say I am a Prudhvi sir student, right? In IITs they say, right? Some IIT Ramabhadra, somebody would be there, lecturer. They say that we have apprentice under that particular lecturer or a professor, right? They proudly say, right? You should also feel proud. Don't know whether you feel it or not. At least I feel proud. You are all under my students. Okay. Now let's apply some mathematical operations, because to make my matrices apply, let's say you take an image. I have a big matrix. The images are generally mentioned as a 248 by 171. Some number would be, you might have seen, right? I don't exactly remember the number. 768 into 1024. These are the standard pixel sizes of images, if you remember, right? That means those many rows of those many columns, your image is represented with those many number of pixels. Okay, that means each cell, each cell, each cell in your image is represented with these many pixels. That much clarity you will say high pixel. That's what in the camera also, right? What the camera will tell? 100 megapixel, 1000 megapixel, 200 megapixel, something megapixel they mentioned, right? That means in a frame, you are imbibing those many number of pixels so that the clarity of the particular picture will be very, very high. Even you zoom in, as the pixel is as small as possible, you can see the clarity of the picture. Still, you can see the clarity of the picture. That is what the pixel. Okay. Now, if I want to change this picture to a different picture, I will be applying certain operations, right? To apply some operations, I need to understand what kind of a mathematical operations I could do on a matrix, so that to do apply some animation, I can apply that kind of a mathematical operation. That is what you need to remember in your mind. Whenever in the Instagram or something, if you are applying some filter, let's say face filter, right? All the beautiful celebrities apply a lot of filters. What do you mean by filter? Going forward, what should pop up in your mind if they apply filter? Come on. If I apply filter, what it means in the background? They are applying some mathematical operation, right? They are applying some mathematical operation to apply a filter so that your pixels getting updated to a different, so that your picture would change to a different picture, right? What mathematical operation they will do, that it will change from filter to filter in the background, that will apply. Okay. Now let's understand, if I want to sum two matrices, it is simple, A plus B, right? If you want to subtract A minus B, right? And then if you want to multiply, remember this. This is very, very important. And these two operations are very, very important. There is a one concept called dot product. So how many of you know dot product? How many of you know dot product earlier? Jagajyoti Mohanty knows. Can you tell me a brief about what you meant by dot product? If I use two matrices or two vectors, vector 1 and vector 2, if I do a dot product between these two, what it means? Do you know? Don't tell me it is a one operation, sir. We did on it. Each element, row, column, reverse during multiplication, multiply, add. I I'm not asking mathematical way. That is what you need to always think along with me. I am not asking you what operations are performed if I use a dot product. I'm not asking what is meant by performing a dot product means. If I am applying a dot product on two vectors, what it means? If I am applying a dot product means what? Increasing intensity of image. Nahi baba. That is you are right. That means you are element by element. If you do, that means you are multiplying something. Okay, let's hold this particular topic. Whenever we discuss NLP, I will beautify this particular topic, how the dot product actually does make sense a lot for you. Then you will understand the beauty of dot product. Why in your childhood you learned dot product and why nobody has explained you the dot product. This is why, Baba, why I'm using a dot product. Okay, I will tell that particular concept. Maybe this is pretty early to explain the dot product. Okay, or else I could take the class to explain the dot product. Okay, this is how you can apply. So just to explain you, the array multiplication is nothing but you are applying a element by element. That means what? If you took 1, 2, 3, 4 and then multiply with 3, 4, 6, 8, it is a element by element multiplication. That means 1 into 3, 2 into 4, 3 into 6, 4 into 8. Okay, this will be your resultant matrix. But in case of a dot product, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And if it is 5, 6, 7, 8. That means you will be doing this into this, this into this, this into this, this into this. This is a normal multiplication. Okay, whatever you have learned in the childhood. Okay, but what is the meaning of dot product? That means what? That we will see later. So are keeping a lot of suspenses. Yeah, in the movies also, right? What they will do in the interval before popcorn, they will give you a trailer. They will say, okay, see the second half, right? We'll see the second half in the vectors. Okay. Okay. Now let's understand one more concept. After that one, I want to dedicate some time today to address your questions if you have any, because I heard from admin that some certain people have certain queries. Okay. I'll take some more time. If you have a lot many questions, you can ask me as questions as possible, because tomorrow and day after tomorrow we don't have a class, but I will give you an assignment at the end. Please do the assignment by yourself. Don't ask a chat GPT or a cloud and take that Ammaya, my assignment is done. Please don't do it. If you don't know, you understand the topic and you re-perform. That is my humble request. Okay? I think Seventy must be happy. I don't know where Seventy would be. He was asking you will give any assignment or not. Okay. We'll cover this particular filtering topic, then we'll go to the questions of you. Each one of you, you can ask as many questions as possible. I will address through voice, not as a chat. Okay. Okay. So a filtering. Okay. This is very powerful mechanism, filtering. So how you could do the filtering is, I can, let's say I want to filter certain elements. Let's say I want to read 4, 5. Okay. How can I read? I probably read the element 0, right? And element 5, right? Start and end I will be giving, so that I will get a 4 and 5. 3 colon if I give, it will read from this particular, this point to this end, right? It will come. But rather than that, I want to get the element. Let's say I have 1,000 elements. Okay. I want among 1,000 elements, I want to get an element more than 200 and less than 300, right? I want to get that as a group. For that reason, I can apply a filter. How I can apply a filter? From the array, I need to tell the array has greater than 200 and an array has a less than 300. Okay. Here you need to give this particular condition, so that from the array it will pull greater than 200 and less than 300. Okay. So here I have given some explanation about that. You can go and apply that particular logic. How to apply the filter. Okay. If it is and, you can use this particular and symbol. If it is or, you can apply the or symbol. Okay. This is how you can filter your elements. Okay. Let me explain where this will be helpful so that you will understand. Let's say I have a age column. This is, let's say you have a big matrix, age, gender, all of that. This is also matrix, right? Now I will tell, pull my array where the age is between 40 and 50. That's what I will tell. But I want to fetch all the columns and rows whosever age is between 40 and 60, 40 and 50. That time I would use this way to pull the rows and columns wherever my condition matches. That is why this filtering is very important to understand the filtering. Okay. Sir, you will mention everything is important. What is important for us? Literally, Baba, these are all important only. You need to remember these things. Certain to do certain operations. But anyway, these days cloud code, all of this kind, you need not to write all this code. You just ask how to fetch it. It will give you the code. People became smart. Okay. I will show you the smarter things than the smartness also. Okay. There is a mechanism. There are multiple tools. I will show you how you can create a n number of agentic applications. without writing a single line of code. Single line of code. Mark my words. Without writing a single line of code, you can create a wonderful end-to-end entire application. For example, the application could be, if you want to read whatever mails coming to you, and it has to look at the content of the matrix, and it will give you a summary of the emails by at every night 9 p.m. It has to send that particular summary to your WhatsApp by reading your Outlook emails without writing a single line of code. You can create this particular application. Okay, those that's why generative AI and agentic AI become such a powerful tools to create those kind of applications. That is why there is software engineers are in danger because they might lose job because everything can be done by your AI even without writing a single line of code. But so this is what for today. Let me take. Please raise your hand if at all you want to ask certain questions to me. I will try to address your questions. If not, you can drop off from the session. Tomorrow, sorry, assignment. Arre wah. Siddharth, thanks for reminding me. Oh, arre. It is my bad. I forgot. Okay. Okay. Note down the assignment, please, all of you. I hope you are taking running notes also. If you are not, please try to start taking running notes. It is not for my benefit. It is for your benefit. Okay. Because when you are taking running notes, it will make you, because they will tell anything, right? Writing one time is equivalent to reading 10 times. Okay, whatever you are writing, though it is a scribble, you scribble on the rough notepad, that is fine for me. You need not to structurally note down, because anyway you have a videos, this is digital content available for you, but you write on some rough paper somewhere, you write, please. Okay, let's note down the assignment, please. I'll give 4 5 questions. Okay, arrange elements in a array between 15 to 100. Okay, this is the first one. Second one, create a matrix, two-dimensional matrix from above array. Okay. Third one, I am giving a three-dimensional array. Okay. Take the three-dimensional array. Note down the three-dimensional array. 1, 2, 4, 4, 5, 6, comma 4, 2, 6, 7, 2, 9. Okay. And then get me the element of, okay, if I want to get the element of 0th column, okay, and second row, probably I'll say second row and 0th column of second matrix. Clear, all of you? Second row, I'm not telling by index, it is a second row. That means first index. Okay. 0th or first, for example, first column. Okay. And then from the second matrix, this is what you need to give me. Okay. I'm rubbing this one. I'm escaping this one. Is that fine? Have you all noted down? Okay. Skip. I'm pressing skip. Okay. Done. The fourth one. Let's take 5 questions for now. Okay. Fourth one. Fourth one is I want to. Yeah, Rahul, third question is very difficult, Baba. Okay, please refer the video. Okay. Fourth question. That's why I asked you before rubbing it off. Okay. So fourth question, I want to create an array. Okay. Probably random numbers, random numbers. Okay. Between, for example, 5 and 10. Okay. With a dimension of 1 cross by 2. This is what you have to remember. Array. Banu has taken a screenshot also. Great. Okay. Last but not least, the fifth question. Okay. Filter a matrix. Okay. The matrix is, for example, like this: 10, 14, 15, 20, yeah, 20, uh, 15, and 16. Now you filter the elements between 14 and 16. Between 14 and 16. Okay. What will happen? Let me know on Monday. Okay. You execute these 5. Try to finish up these 5. Okay. And then you would be knowing what you will be doing it. Yeah, Nikhil. Yes. N10 workflow platform will be told. Don't worry. Okay. These are the 5. Now let me see if you have any questions. You can raise your hand. If not, we can wind up the call. Recap file I have already added till yesterday, Shaukat. I have added, but you didn't. Did you follow my request, Shaukat? Have you seen whatever I have asked you? If you don't watch movies, sorry, ignore. If you watch movies, then okay. You watch that particular clip from Indra movie. Okay. Anybody? I'll watch in the weekend. Oh, great. Okay, you tell me on Monday then. Okay, Shravanti. Let me unmute. Shravanti, I have given you access.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, yes, Shravanti.
Actually, regarding one small doubt, sir, like when I was striving with some examples in Visual Studio, like I was able to try and work out with .py files, sir. But when I was trying with IPYNB, like I am not able to execute and I'm not able to run it, sir. I mean, like it is asking for type to choose a kernel source.
Yes.
I,
Okay.
I only had one option over there: install or enable suggested extensions Python plus Jupyter.
Yeah, you need to install that particular extension because for
Uh,
IPNB it has to follow certain specific thing. That is why it may ask. Or what you can do, you can click on Control Shift P.
okay.
Not Control Shift P. I think Shift Control P or Shift P. I forgot the 1 minute. Let me show you. Or what you can do, I think it will automatically intelligently identify. Let's say click on this particular new cell, and if you write this one, right? If you
Mm.
click a shift enter or control enter, then it will show you a prompt saying please install IPY kernel.
Okay, when I was pressing for shift and enter, it was showing me like no build task to run found. Configure build task.
What you send me that particular once that particular error or whatever.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so that I will address that question. Okay.
Okay, sir. I was able to work in like a .py files,
Mm,
but
mm.
I'm getting an error only with this notebook only, sir.
Okay, or else you can click on this, select another kernel. Here it will show you Jupyter kernel. Okay,
Okay,
that
actually,
time.
I am getting this in Visual Studio, sir.
Mm,
Okay.
Visual Studio or Visual Studio
Okay.
Code.
Visual Studio Code only, sir.
You will get this, whatever you are seeing.
Uh,
Okay, you can try to select a Jupyter kernel. Okay, so here,
yeah.
if you select Jupyter kernel, it will run. If not, at
Okay,
least
sir.
it will ask you to create a new Jupyter kernel, then it will install a Jupyter kernel.
Okay, sir. I'll check with that once.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? That's all. Okay. Thank you all. Let's catch up on Monday and then with all the fresh content and new content. Okay. Bye, all of you.